Cedar Point. When everyone's not talking about Steel Vengeance, they're probably talking about where is the next expansion going to go. Being on a peninsula, space is kind of at a premium, but today I'll walk you through the 11 spots I think are the most likely candidates where you'll see the park expand next.
One of the areas I definitely see the park expanding sooner than later is Kitty Kingdom here. It's has all the, I don't want to say outdated, but the carnival type rides you see at the local fairs. It takes up a pretty good chunk. I mean, if you're not familiar with the park, it goes pretty far back to like the Ferris wheel there. You got outdated, you got a lot of new great kiddie rides, and these are a little bit outdated. I would think they would still keep the merry-go-round, since that merry-go-round's pretty famous. It's been featured on a U.S. postal stamp, among other things. So I can see them keeping that. But it would be really cool to see is like right in this area, kind of sticking out over the midway, maybe one of those the Coma junior coasters, kind of like what Fun Spot Orlando has. That'd be cool, like kind of right here to tie this area together and then just update it. Don't really see this this area changing within the next few years. Another expansion pad would be the employee dorms over here. They're the all-male dorms. It used to be a hotel that was built in like 1900. I believe it's older than Hotel Breakers because the boats used to drop guests off right over there, on the other side of those hotels, that building there. And they used to have female dorms on site over by Corkscrew, but they've since got rid of those a couple years ago. So everyone thinks these are on the chopping block. They don't even have air conditioning, super rundown. So likely those will go. What will we see there? I don't know. I think the marina is such a moneymaker for them. We'll probably see that expand. Maybe a nice like waterfront restaurant that you can go to from the park would be really cool, in addition to Famous Dave's. But then I can see once they open that up, expand the marina, use this whole sliver of land here to still do something. So I still think we'll see a new ride or new attraction or something here when those dorms go down, but I don't think it'll be the mega ride you would think, because I think marina is going to get expanded. All right, another prime location spot here. It's actually where a ride used to be. This building right here is the former Pirate Ride Dark Ride that I think closed in the mid-90s. But it's a pretty big building. It goes back all the way to the Rapper Quay. So if you ride Blue Street, you'll see. I don't know in of itself if it's big enough for a dark ride, but they kind of cleaned up this really bland plaza here and maybe built the ride out to about where I'm standing. Definitely could put a dark ride here. Closed Chickies and Pete's. I personally hate it. Got Melt and all that stuff now. So I think if you combine Chickies and Pete's, that with coming all the way out here, you could put a solid dark ride right in here. All right, here's another prime expansion area. You got this old building right here, which I think is some kind of offices. Got Melt here, but behind Melt, you got the employee cafeteria, some park offices, and then that building, two-story building, is the Cedar Fair corporate headquarters. Now, I think they're going to try to move everyone to Charlotte, and then even though the building's new, this is a nice prime chunk of land where you can put a nice ride back here and bulldoze that office, move it off-site, move a lot of this stuff off-site, move the cafeteria somewhere else, and you got, I mean, scramblers are easy to move. Next thing you know, you got a big plot of land for like a Gerslau or Smiler or something right back here. All right, out of all the locations in the video, this one's probably the most obvious. It's where the old aquatic stadium, and there actually used to be an aquarium over here as well, was located. And it's flat, and they're building like a concert venue for the summer over there, but it's pretty temporary, guys. By the time this video comes out, and there might be already a ride announced, I think you can take this plot of land here, which isn't that big. It looks bigger than it really is. It's not that big. And you got the convention center here, but you take that plot of land, you shorten this midway a little bit, and maybe even take out like the fry place. And you could probably put a nice GCI on the lake, you know, relive this Coney Island, Cedar Point cyclone. But this is probably the most obvious expansion pad right here. I say give it a year or two and you'll see a coaster here, my guess is. All right, so you got the area I just showed here, but then you could take this out, the old Schwabinchen, 3-point shootout. Got these little trees here. You might have to move Tiki Twirl, whatever they're calling it these days, a little bit, but you could really get a decent sized coaster in that plot of land.
Between Gemini and where the slingshot is by the railroad tracks, there's quite a bit of area. You can go behind the Frontier Town area, behind the shooting arcade, all the way back to Steel Vengeance, kind of this whole area back here. You have a couple offices, employee break room. Building back there you see is the planning and design where they design all the new rides. Here's kind of a different look at it. I could see them blowing out the midway and making another midway back from those bathrooms back towards Steel Vengeance to loop around there.
So Cedar Creek My Ride is one of the older rides, and just look how big of an area this takes up. I mean, got the water here, goes all the way back over there, and of course the station area. There's definitely another spot I can see them expanding, especially if they go out onto the island. You could do like a big plaza here, and do like helix of the end of the coaster, and then have the coaster be on the island over there. That'd be pretty cool. But hopefully if they do replace the mine train, you know, for the families, they keep it with another like modern mine train. Fire Chaser Express would be pretty cool right here. Alright, probably next to the beach, the most likely expansion plot is Millennium Island. Walking across here, goes to Dinosaurs Alive. It's where Millennium Force does its stuff out on the island. But it's also where Shoot the Rapids was, and that's a big piece of space. Dinosaur Alive is here right now, but we've been seeing them leave at other parks. Probably going to leave here too. It'd just be so cool. I mean, this is such a heavily wooded island. Not so much the Shoot the Rapids side, but you see it over here. I mean, if they did like a GCI through the woods, it could be like a little mini Beast effect, like flying through like this overbrush in the middle of the night, intertwined with Millennium Force. Just picture like a track piece right here for like a GCI. I mean, it'd be pitch black at night. It'd be pretty cool. Again, just picture for a minute, like this is super heavily wooded if you haven't been back here. Like, just take this path, transform it into a GCI or something like that. You're flying through this canopy of trees at night. Like, it's like the beast. It'd be really cool. So hopefully they do that and they don't bulldoze down all the trees here. Ignore the dino, but this is the other side of the island. This is all the old Shoot the Rapids stuff here. You can kind of see some of the rock work and some of the buildings back in there. But basically, we're from where you see the Frontier Fling was ripcord. I mean, all the way back to where the turnaround is over there. You got this whole island, this whole side, which goes almost to like where you see Skyhawk back there. This is pretty wide open. So I would say if you see a ride here, you probably see like the lift hill, first drop, maybe first turn here, and then I could see them taking it through the woods, or at least I'd hope so, through the deep forest we're just looking at, kind of do a little out and back before it shoots back across the water. But definitely an area of opportunity here. Yeah, a little Millennium Force, great ride.
On a related note, the area where the Frontier Fling is, down to where Millennium Force's two hills are, it's kind of a boneyard area. So you got the ride there, and then you have behind it, boneyard of all old ride parts, kind of behind the trees. This right here, even if you don't move Frontier Fling, could provide you a nice room for at least a flat ride, if not the entrance to that a roller coaster that goes out to the island. The park recently removed the Sandcastle Suites Hotel at the top of the peninsula there. You can see here in this photo, bottom left, takes up it did take up quite a bit of space. Now the park's filled up some of that space with some additional RV sites this year, but I have to think that's such a prime location right on the beach. We're going to see them add a nice hotel there. I'm going to say this is going to be a luxury hotel right there along the beach. Last but not least, Witch's Wheel area. I'll admit it, you guys got me. I didn't predict this one. The park announced that the ride was closing after I filmed the video. I had to go steal our own YouTube content to make this video happen for you guys. But hey, if you've never been on the ride, hey Legend, is it a fast ride?
Yeah, that thing goes fast.
But really, what could we see going here? I think it's a perfect spot for a big flat ride. They need kind of a signature flat ride in this area of the park, and I think this would be a great location for one. Well, there you have it. My look at where Cedar Point might expand next. Had to throw in this clip I filmed many years ago of the park, just to show how much the park has changed. And I mean, if half the stuff comes through that I just talked about, I mean, how much the skyline will change again. But let me know if I'm right or I'm wrong. I mean, that's the whole point of YouTube comments, right? Is to tell people how wrong they are. So let me know what I got wrong and where you think the park might expand next.